I'm going to talk to you about our eGOS module. This is one of our premium products, and effectively it's a way of linking with the NHS PCSE online to process GOS 1, 3, 4, 6 claims. It has the advantage over portal injection in that all of the processing is done on our system, all of the signature capture is done on our system, meaning a bit more flexibility and kind of knowing where you are. Also, you don't have to keep logging into PCSE online and re-entering the data, if that makes sense. As I say, it's a premium package, so there is a monthly subscription fee per practice, and that involves us effectively setting up a key so that your practice can talk to the NHS and they trust each other and data flows backwards and forwards. So I'll give you a quick example of how this works. So eGOS tab here, and we'll do a GOS one first of all. And effectively it pulls data in from across the system. So it's going to bring the patient name in, their address, the date of birth, things like the last eye test, what benefits they're on, and if you've done the test today, it will bring in the test data from today and everything that's gone on, if that makes sense. You can also sign, so effectively you can sign on the screen, and you can obviously, if you've got a touch screen monitor, you can do that on your screen. If you've got a tablet, you could do it on a tablet. You also have the advantage with these that you can send a remote link to the patient by SMS, and then they can click and they can use their own device to submit the signature, if that makes sense. So everything we put in there, this is happy, it's got a claim, it allows us to submit it, so that's ready to go. But just to show you a few things that can potentially differ. So what we'll do is if we go back to the contact tab, a lot of that NHS stuff that's in that claim is pulled out of here. So you see you're on universal credit here. If, for example, I untick that and make the patient diabetic, but down here we've got establishment and town, I'm not going to put those in, but the diabetic universal credit, if we go back into the eGOS and refresh that data, now the diabetic, but it needs to know the GP name and the town. So over here it's given us a warning and it will no longer let us submit that voucher, which is useful. So rather than you submit it to PCSE and it keep telling you what's going on, you can handle all that claim in here and away you go. So we will go back to contact, and if we were to put the some sort of surgery name in and obviously a town, there we go. Go back to eGOS, refresh. Now it's happy and I can submit it. Does that make sense? For simplicity though, I'm going to stick with the universal credit. A couple of things you can do around submitting. If you decide actually that voucher is not, you don't want to submit it, you can remove it. Sorry, not in this menu, it's in this one. You can remove it there. If it's a voucher that you started to process but actually you're not going to move ahead with the claim, you can mark it as inactive and then it can't be used, can't be added to the till, etc. The accepted and rejected buttons are there. They only show up for your operations managers within the company, and the reason they're there is that very occasionally you'll send this to PCSE online and there will be a communications failure. So effectively what will happen is it will come back with a response of manual review, and that's saying really that our system has sent the data to PCSE online but we didn't get a response back, so it shows up as manual review. So at that point we have to log into PCSE online, check if it's in there accepted or rejected, and then you can mark it as accordingly. Now that's not available for all staff, so if that happens they'll have to escalate it to operations and they can do it. So watch what happens when we submit this. So I'm going to click eGOS submit. That's going to go through to PCSE. It comes back and you see here it says validated. What that's saying is that PCSE have accepted the claim, well, accepted the data, and it all makes sense. So for example, you've not put a date of birth in that doesn't make sense, or you've not put a postcode that's got numbers missing. So it's happy. There's one further step, and that's status update. If you click that, it will now check whether it's accepted. This has come back as accepted, and that is set in stone, £23.53. The NHS will pay you the next time they pay you. So it's there and you can use it. So next step from that point of view is to put it on your till. So the eGOS is there ready to use. If we go to the till, and we can create a new transaction today, and we'll put the eye test on. And under eGOS we'll then have a vouchers that are there ready to use, and that's our one from there today to use. and then that's balanced. Go back to the eGOS tab. If you refresh it, right click on the eGOS tab or refresh it. You've now got this little supermarket trolley which locks the eGOS claim and effectively means that you're tied to that transaction. The only other thing you might want to do in the future, for example, if the patient comes back and says, oh, you know what, I was lying, I wasn't on universal credit, I don't want to get into trouble, can we cancel that claim? What you would do to balance your books, within this cog thing here, there's a write-off claim button. Click that, and I've got one I did earlier actually. So I wanted this till transaction here. We've got a eye test, and then it was paid by voucher, but we've written it off. What that'll mean, it will leave a note in your accountant section, which effectively says, even though we said we took that money, we didn't, so that your books can balance. What you'll then need to do, and there's an email address you can use, you can email PCSE online, and you can tell them, give them details of the claim, patient number, address, etc., and say, look, that's not one we want paying for, and they'll adjust your payments accordingly. So that's pretty easy. Cancel that, and then these can be minimised, these claims. So if you look, we've got old claims from previous years. If you want to have a look at the details of one of those, click it. And you can see the claim data. Very occasionally a claim will be rejected by PCSE or not validated, and often that'll come back with the reason code, and that's one of these here. You see this P1398, don't make a lot of sense to us now, but that was at some point in the past rejected and sent to us. Click on it and it will tell you why it was rejected, and in this case it's a duplicate claim. Hopefully you're following all that, nice and easy. So let's just run through a eGOS 3 example, slightly different, but eGOS 3 and 4 are pretty much the same. So we'll do a eGOS 3 one, and again this is based on today's eye test. So we've done an eye test today, we've found an A voucher, given some distance glasses. I'll just show you where that is in the prescription tab. This is following an eye test, following a handover. We've got the prescription up there, we've issued an A voucher, we haven't issued a second voucher, and down here we've got a distance pair of glasses. That all needs to be on there. Save that or cancel it because I've not changed it. Back to here. Refresh, make sure we're happy. So this is telling us really that we've not signed, performer's not signed, etc. So we can't submit this yet, but you'd assume on the day of the eye test the patient's going to sign and the optom's going to sign as well. So we'll pop that data in. Now we're waiting for three things now: collection, signatures, and supplier ones, which we'll do obviously once they collect. So we'll leave that there. It'll stay as a draft claim until we've got all that information. You obviously can put it on the till and you can start making the glasses. And when they come back, the patient will collect and then they'll sign the last bits. Then we can submit it. Okay. But also here it says that we haven't given the price of the glasses. So let's put a price in here for what the glasses are costing. Go with 99. Refresh that. So it's just those signatures we're waiting for now. So unlike a eGOS 1, which you can submit on the day, as I say, you might want to put this in the till in advance. So let's say we've got a dispense going to the till. I'll pop a dispense on this one realistically. Let's see if we can get a nice expensive frame on here. Some of these need some value. Here you go, 149. We're going to put this frame on the till here, and then we're going to use the eGOS voucher against it. And that will be in here, but as a draft voucher. Okay. So we've paid that off. We need to pay the other £46.60 by some other method or discount it. So we paid that by card, for example. Your eGOS voucher sits on there as draft. Your eGOS voucher sits in here as draft. There is also an admin section for eGOS on the diary page, so you can actually view all your draft claims. You can see the date, so you can effectively say if some are over so many weeks old, you can have some sort of admin procedure that means you look them up. So you're not going to lose these, which is great news. But on the day the patient comes in, effectively, you will sign these last two things. Save that and save that. There you go. Now, it's given us a warning here because actually we've signed to say the patient's collected on the same day that they actually ordered them, which is not normally going to be the case. But occasionally it might be if you've got a lab install that makes them in an hour. So if it is the case that that's happening, ignore the warnings and then you can submit. In this case, though, obviously this is not a real patient, not a real voucher, so I'm going to leave that in a minute. So hopefully that gives you an overview of eGOS. eGOS is kind of, intelligent, it's fast. It means there's no double keying when you get to PCSE Online. You can almost ignore PCSE Online, and it's great added value to your practice. If you're interested in it, you can send us an email, info@visionhive.co.uk, and we can add it to your package. If you've got any questions on it or how to use it, pop those in the forum and we'll get you sorted. Otherwise, thanks for listening and happy eGOSing.